Alright, today in this video I'm going to talk about Jurassic World Rebirth, what they could have changed to make it better, and how it could have been better. I'm going to mainly talk about a few little scenes in the movie that I think really could have changed the outcome of how the perspective of the film was, in my opinion. If you enjoyed it, good for you, but I'm just going to name off a few things I think could have and should have been changed, and just kind of some random ideas I thought of. So, first off, opening scene with the lab breakout. I don't even know if I'd call it a breakout, but the guy at the Snickers bar, the one scientist, how it basically broke the door and D-Rex got out, shut down the entire lab. I don't really like the scene of how it played out. I thought it was very dumb how it worked out. I think they could have done it differently in the terms of how basically the park got abandoned. Like, you didn't need to have, say, like a thriller type of scene right there. You could have just had like something more casual instead of like something extremely dumb and random happening. For instance, you could just have some CEO person of, say, Inject come in, some lead scientist be like, hey, people are starting to catch on what we're doing here, what we're doing, this like genetic research. It's not legal. It's not right in any way, shape, or form. We gotta shut it down. We're going to have to abandon the place. I don't know, you could really just do like a time lapse of showing everyone just kind of leaving, and then it started becoming like abandoned. And as they're leaving, they just kind of shut the gates, they close stuff off, they like release different things. They just kind of let nature kind of go to how it was. In a way, everyone's off, and then you kind of maybe see the D-Rex walk out of its enclosure or its like pen where it was kept, be completely always tested on and being mutilated, disgusting looking, walking around and walking out. I actually have a scene showing it better and more clearly, because the way it kind of was presented was, I feel like the whole time leading up to the movie, it was presented D-Rex is going to be the big bad of the movie, and we barely ever saw it. We just saw it at the very beginning and at the very end of the movie. Whereas if you look at other movies and stuff, Jurassic World, Indominus Rex, main iconic dinosaur antagonist the entire time. You always saw it throughout the entire movie. It was there at the beginning, there at the end. And throughout the entire middle, too, was about it. Not to say that the D-Rex was basically just, well, like 10 seconds at the beginning, and maybe, I would say, a full 2 minutes of time at the very end of the movie. So a total, let's just say 2.5 minutes of total time throughout. I don't know how long the movie is, but that long of time for the main dinosaur that was basically leading up to everything, hyped as the big bad, hyped as like some mysterious dinosaur we're going to learn more about. People thought like, oh, first attempt at a T-Rex, but no, I guess it's just a genetic experiment. I think they should have explained it better of what it was exactly. I think that would have made things better. And I think they should have showed the D-Rex off a little bit more throughout the film, instead of just being like found at the very end. I mean, yes, it was scary seeing it in the dark, but I think they had another chance in the dark to actually say find it and see it, or even find like a computer lab and know that thing is out there, or you see some like dinosaur that died in some like horrific looking way. Question: what type of animal would have done this? It's like a normal behavior. How they maybe stumble upon the D-Rex, like grab something and just like eat it, if it's like a long arm or something. I think something like that would have been more cool. It kind of puts the fear factor, like, oh, this random like creature just out there lurking in the jungle, so we gotta try and make it off, and that shows up at the end. I think that would have been better. And now, another scene I like to change is the ending of how Duncan lived. Now, I have no problem with Duncan surviving. I think the way it was presented was like, oh yes, he's going to go out like a hero's type of death. Like, he's helping out everyone, he's saving everyone. He's sacrificing it all so everyone will live. I thought that was great. I thought it was really good storytelling right there. It fits perfectly with his character or kind of what he believes in. And then all of a sudden he just shows up at the end firing a flare. If you watch the movie, spoiler, he's right there. Like he's running away, sort of for the D-Rex. I don't know why D-Rex is so slow, in my opinion. But anyway, D-Rex is like right there, maybe like 10 feet away. Starts roaring at it, and you see it from a distance. The flare goes out. You're like, oh, he died. That's unfortunate. I don't know. D-Rex is also just like appears really fast again and starts attacking like the boat. Well, thankfully they get away, and D-Rex just really doesn't care at all. He just walks, just like oh well, I guess. Then also Duncan appears out of nowhere. I fired a flare. I'm like, hey, I'm still alive. I think the way that was presented was, all right, he died. That's that. And then how did he live? They should have explained better how he lived. If it was a really dense, like a mangrove looking area, I mean, it kind of looked that way, like a dense jungle looking area. If he could say have squeezed through the trees a bit, and then the D-Rex can't really follow him. It was like trying to break the trees, push things over, trying to chase around, but can't catch up to him. I think that would have worked better and distracted him, and then eventually maybe they heard say the engine pop for the boat, and that's what D-Rex then turns his attention over and say it's chasing the boat a bit, but then the boat gets away, and then Duncan lives. That seems like a better alternative instead of just being, oh hey, flare goes out, we don't see what happened, somehow he lived. Like D-Rex comes back, somehow Duncan lived. I think it should have explained it a little bit better in my opinion. But those are like my main complaints I have with the movie of what they could have. I think they should have put the dinosaurs more into it. Dinosaurs felt like a second characters. Like they felt second place in a movie about dinosaurs. That's all I'm gonna say. Is it felt more of a people movie. It was like character development and people's story is what it felt like. I went there to see dinosaurs. It did feel super heavily dinosaur based or focused. It felt basically, alright, this is our mission, this is our team. I get that at the beginning, like set up the mission, set up the story and the plot. But then it just kind of skips over a lot of stuff with actual dinosaurs, when they're on the island full of dinosaurs. You get to see, I mean, obviously, I understand you have the people do their stuff, but even though you just barely had any dinosaurs walking around or doing anything. Like the one valley with the titanosaurs. Throw in some random dinosaurs or the random herbivores. Have some Parasaurolophus walking around, Corythosaurus, and a random new dinosaur like Lambeosaurus, Maiasaura. Like some peaceful dinosaurs that are just like roaming about the valley. Or you could have had maybe a little sequence where you could have saw like some predator, like a small little predator dinosaur. Like it maybe doesn't even harm the people, but you just kind of see it roaming around. You could just have something there, just show more dinosaurs. Show more dinosaurs, or like what they're doing. That's basically what I'm going to say about it. Is they felt like second place in the movie when they should have been on first up along with the people. Whereas I feel like every other Jurassic World movie, you always saw dinosaurs. No matter where you were going, sure, there were some moments where you did have like the conversations, the people and stuff, but you always knew that they're like right over there. The dinosaurs were right over there. You knew where they kind of were. Whereas this one, they randomly appear. They kind of just randomly appear. I mean, that's probably how they would actually maybe be in the wild if I'm more of a survival type of movie, not a Jurassic World movie. If you kind of get where I'm going, it felt more survival based, not really made for like actual Jurassic World. It felt more survival based. Kind of more. I think they could have made it more scary then if it was going to be more survival based. But like a lot of things was like just got dumb decisions by people, and that's how a lot of them died. Some deaths were like, how did this happen? Or this person should have died. I don't know how this person lived. That type of thing. I mean, that's kind of bound to happen in these types of movies, but I really just kind of wish we could have saw a little bit more dinosaurs just kind of roaming about or free range. I go there to see a Jurassic World movie, expected to see dinosaurs. At least most of the time. But that really wasn't the case. It was just kind of when they were convenient to the plot. That's just what I'll say. Or it was just a random appearance. Like we had a random cameo from the Ankylosaurus at the end of the movie for really no reason except to drive a car off the road. That was it. That was his whole purpose right there. But at least we got a cameo from the Ankylosaurus. Shout out to Ankylosaurus. That's pretty much all I gotta say. I'm gonna go check out the other video where I kind of go in depth a bit more about the whole movie, the whole film, and talk about it more, like the kind of the whole plot and story. So go ahead and watch that if you want. Anyway, thanks for watching. Catch you later. Bye.